Elias's. Whoa. Whoops, baby. Oh, the tires. My truck thinks there's someone sitting in the passenger seat. We don't have to protect them that much. They're tires. The wheels need more protection. So yeah, as you can see, I talked way too much. I also had a way different plan for this video. Was going to record a really fun skit. It was including my BMW wheels because, full transparency, before I bought these super expensive wheels, I thought I was going to try to put the C4s that I have on my BMW, which are basically TE37 reps, and put them on the Evo. So a long time ago I thought maybe I can make this happen, and actually, I can get some wheel at the hub adapters. And I was gonna make a fun skit out of it, like, ugh, I really hate these scuffed up wheels. Oh my gosh, I got these really cool black wheels that got proxies on them. Why don't we just do it? Couldn't find the right time to film this type of skit, and then when I did go to try to do it, it didn't work out. 17s after having 18s on the Evo just wasn't gonna be it. And they sat in too far, so I would have needed spacers. And yeah, they just looked a little dinky inside of the well of the Evo. So scratched that idea. And then for funsies, I threw the RPFs onto the M3, and I had already realized that putting the adapters on didn't work because I have extended studs on the M3 and adapters don't quite work in that way. Regardless, I decided that that wasn't the route that I was gonna go. And then I bought the TEs and started working on the extended studs for the Evo, and was gonna still try to do some sort of funny skit. Then I realized after installing all of the studs that I just did the same exact thing to my Evo hubs, and now I can't put adapters on that to try to do this fake skit of like trying to put my C4s on. It took me a long time to get tires mounted onto the TEs because I was just terrified, and there's a lot of horror stories on the internet. This is actually a dream come true of mine. I've always wanted like legit TE37s on a car, and I thought what better car to do that than the Evo. I found myself in a position to be able to do it, so I went for it. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. What's up, crew? Welcome to another video. We're throwing some new wheels on the Evo. That's not a good angle. Oh, that was gonna be so much cooler where I slide in and I start talking. Got the stud conversion done on both the front and the rears. The front was definitely a lot easier. The back was, wow. Basically, I did way more work than I needed to. We'll save that. If you haven't watched the other video, go ahead and watch that. I went ahead and put the RPF ones back on just to test the handbrake to make sure that I assembled it all correctly. Test the brakes, test to make sure there's nothing that sounded rattly, because ultimately I want to put the new wheels on and leave them on for as long as I can and not have to take them on and off for different things. I've already, thought about I want to do coilovers at some point soon, and new rotors would be smart given how rusty these are and ugly. And I do want to get these calipers refinished. So if anything, all that means is I should really plan this out and make sure that when I do get the coilovers, that I'm ready to get drilled and slotted rotors and get the brakes refinished and have this on jack stands for a little bit so I can get it all done at the same time and then close it up again. Before we put the new wheels on, I wanted to talk about fitment, because this was one of the biggest headaches I experienced and probably that a lot of people experience. And if you're one of the very few car enthusiasts who haven't seen a video about fitment or the offset of the wheel, then let's talk about it really quick. There's several numbers that you need to know when it comes to the wheels that you might get for your car, and all of these numbers really do matter when it comes to putting the right wheel on your car. The first one being the diameter of the rim. That's going to be likely for most cars 17, 18, or 19. You can obviously go 20 plus, but not very many street cars can handle that. And then you can go smaller too, but I don't know why you would want to do that. But most cars fall within those three, 17, 18, or 19. And then you have the next number, which is the width of the wheel. It's by something. And in my case, I went with 9.5. The RPF ones are 10.5, which in my opinion was way too wide and it caused stretch on the 255s. and I don't like that look. Plus, it exposes the lip to potential damage if you suck at parking. And this is something you're gonna wanna pay attention to, because most of the time in the rear, you're gonna be able to fit pretty thick wheel, but you still have to make sure that depth makes sense. And in the front, you have to make sure that when you go full lock on your steering, that you don't rub anywhere, because you don't want to cause unnecessary wear on your tires, and you also just don't want to damage your car. In the front of this car, they went too wide at some point and the fender liner is completely torn up. I know the tires have taken a smash to the inside of the fenders a couple of times. You really want to pay attention to that. And that's also going to have something to do with the type of tire you get, but we're not going to cover that. This is mostly just wheel fitment. The last number that you're really going to see, other than the bolt pattern, which the bolt pattern is specific to your car, you can do adapters, but highly not recommended, because it can really affect the drivetrain of your car. Jury's out on how much it affects it, but I'm sure there's a little bit of effect at least. So the last number is going to be your offset, and that's going to be the most complicated number, because it basically positions your wheel in or out of the wheel well. For simplest terms, it's where the front of your wheel will end as compared to the fender. The research really says for an Evo 9, Evo 7, 8, or 9, offset of 22 on a 9.5 wheel, 18 by 9.5 is the sweet spot. Now that's if you have a stock body, OEM, nothing done. This obviously has some really crappy over fenders that I hope to fix sometime soon. So this on the rear gives it an extra 30 millimeters, and on the front I have an extra 10 millimeters with the carbon fiber front fenders. With that in mind, if plus 22 on a 9.5 wheel is perfect, then I'm gonna want to push it out a little bit more, and to do so, the way that the offset works is you're going to have a plus or a minus, and that's based on where the connection of the wheel to the hub is. Negative pushing it towards the back of the wheel, positive pushing it towards the front of the wheel, and what that's going to do is move the front of the wheel differently. My biggest recommendation for this, if you don't want to get too deep in the weeds, because actually this is a cheap one from Amazon, if you want to try and mess around with a fitment fitment tool, you can go ahead and do it. I'll leave a link down below for this one. This one's not too bad of quality, but it's hard to read. It really is. Once you put it on here, like you're looking at this. This one I have it set to a plus 12, which is the wheels I have, 9.5 width and an 18. And from what I can tell, if I look down, it might be literally perfect. I'm coming from a 10.5 with an offset of 15, so I'm losing an inch on rim width, but I'm pushing it out a little tiny bit more. A millimeter is not much at all. You can get the tool, which is a helpful item for you to try to use and read. You can definitely grab a tool like this, and it will be helpful at some degree. I honestly believe either you get really nerdy, or you find a friend who's super nerdy with this and has experience. Now that person's not a friend of mine, but the person who sold me the wheels was definitely a huge resource when it came to understanding what was going to work and what I might have to do to make it work even better. He was able to articulate that plus 12 on this with the wide body was going to be probably perfect, or potentially need a spacer. So without further ado, let's find out. And I'm giddy right now, because this is a dream come true for me right now. Putting on some TE37s on an Evo 9 that I own both of. Holy shit. The moment of truth. Will the fitment be shitment? Let's be careful here. Oh no, that is no spacers needed. Oh my god. I think I might need a minute alone.
A few inches later.
I definitely need new rotors, because you can see into these right now, and they are ugly and rusty because the RPFs have so many spokes that it's harder to see the rotors, but these things are disgusting. So, not going to do that soon. They're cheap, but not going to do that. I don't want to take these off anytime soon. Let's go grab those lugs, and let's get these bad boys on. I feel like I'm holding too many of these. These are legit. I've been thinking about your love tonight.
been thinking about your love tonight. Two hearts gonna make our worlds collide, baby. I just wanna be the one to treat you right. Two-step in me, baby, slide, slide. Been thinking about your love tonight. Two hearts gonna make our worlds collide, baby. I just wanna be the one to treat you right. Two-step in me, baby, slide, slide. I've been thinking about your love tonight. I just wanna be the one to treat you right. I've been thinking about your love tonight. Two hearts gonna make our worlds collide, baby. I just wanna be the one to treat you right. Two-step in me, baby, slide, slide.
Oh, looks so good. So good.
Look, back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can let up. They get not tired of me never.